I'm a nerd.
Nerds.
Nerds.
Nerds!
I'm not kissing a nerd.
What is a nerd?
Nerd! Holy crap, are we nerdy?
Welcome, Nerdables, to episode 120. This time we are talking major changes for Doctor Who, DC Comics relaunching yet again, and Marvel Comics hinting at some returns. And we're also going to get some of the Star Wars numbers and a little bit of a...
There's Star Wars news, too.
There's a little bit of Star Wars news. I was trying to avoid Star Wars news, but, you know,
No, it's
big, always...
it's a big topic.
Yeah.
It's not big.
Hey.
We're not going to take 45 minutes on it, but
We
it's worked
went.
out. What the hell? Oh,
Mikey's over there tripping out on the floor.
We went
Mike's
100.
like, Star Wars news!
We went 119 episodes of Nerdables without not doing Star Wars.
No, but
news,
here's what's
so
funny.
We might as well just
Here's
Also,
what...
the early ones.
No. Here's what's funny, because I was listening to this, I was checking over it last week. Last year at this time, when we were trying to get Nerdables at the Star Wars celebration, because remember they did podcasts and stuff, we didn't have enough Star Wars content to give them. We had to do a special Star Wars episode dedicated just to Star Wars because we didn't have enough episodes for the list of ones that they wanted.
There's nothing to talk about a year ago.
Yeah. Now that's all we've talked about.
We were only supposed to be 4 months away from the release instead of 11 months.
Okay, so the big news for Doctor Who right now should make Travis and Sebastian both excited for the change.
Yay!
Stephen Moffat has announced, or at least BBC announced, that Stephen Moffat is leaving Doctor Who as a showrunner after the 10th season.
And when is the 10th season again?
That's the thing, is because
2024.
No, because of the Olympics and the Euros of next year, of 2016, or this year, 2016, there will not be a Doctor Who series this year. The only thing we will get for Doctor Who is a Christmas special.
Okay, I have a question as someone who doesn't watch Doctor Who, because this is what confused me. So season 10 is moved back a year.
Yes.
Is there still new episodes this year to finish up season 9?
Season 9 finished
That just
up.
finished.
Okay, so there's no new episodes in 2016.
Except for
one
the
Christmas special.
Okay, that was the only question I had, like not following, like.
And
Okay.
then season 10, which is our next season, will start at its normal slot in 2017.
Not the normal spot. It will be spring of 2017.
Oh, they're moving it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so before you guys delve into this means that technically Stephen Moffat is still in charge of Doctor Who for 2 more years.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But
how excited are you really?
well,
Well,
I've
they
been
want-
waiting for him to leave since season 7, so I feel validated that somebody finally went, maybe it's time.
But you won't see non-Moffat
Till 2018.
episodes. Yeah, you've got 2.5 more years.
You got 13 more Moffat episodes.
I am excited,
But
though.
you have two. I'm not worried about the episodes. This is the thing that was like, as people.
Yeah, there's still time.
Much like you guys, the people that I know that are Doctor Who fans don't like Stephen Moffat either.
Right.
Our friend Robin
Yes.
absolutely hates him. One of my coworkers absolutely hates him now because he watched the episode that he hated for almost an entire season before I finally convinced him, if you hate it, stop watching it. But
Right.
you have 2.5 years before you see anything Doctor Who that isn't Moffat related. So
Yeah.
I don't know how excited really it would be because you're still waiting almost 3 years before you're going to see any sort of Doctor Who that isn't penned, ran by, produced by Stephen Moffat.
For me, it's a sense of validation because during that season 7 especially, everyone's like, no, he's still got it in him. He's still got it in him. It's just like, no, he doesn't. And everyone is sort of espousing the same feelings like, I feel good about this. I feel like a hipster. It's nice. And I can wait.
The funny thing is, Peter Jackson summed up Stephen Moffat perfectly in that spoof that he did with his daughter about coming on to do a Doctor Who episode. He was like, "Oh, I got a letter from Stephen Moffat. Some of it made sense, but a lot of it I didn't. Some of it wasn't even finished."
That video was mind-numbing.
It was
Yeah,
so
it was
horrible,
horrible.
but there was so much truth in what he was saying.
Yes, but
That's how a lot of
buried
people
in-
feel about Stephen Moffat.
Right. For me, I'm just excited that the new showrunner is the person who's the showrunner from Broadchurch,
Yes.
which is a great show, and that has me intrigued. I'm not going to get hyped up. I'm not going to say, best showrunner ever. I'm just going, I think that's good, and hopefully if he can bring that same sense of style he brought to Broadchurch,
Which is Chris Chinball?
I believe so.
Chris Chibnall.
Chibnall.
Yeah,
Chibnall.
then
Chinball.
I'm intrigued, and it
Chinball.
will get me paying attention more often.
No, I'm extremely excited about Chibnall taking over because I love Broadchurch.
Yes.
And he also did Camelot, He's done a bunch of UK TV shows.
Yes, he has.
And he's done Doctor Who before too.
He's written episodes of Doctor Who.
Yeah,
He's been a
you know-
Doctor Who fan since he was a kid.
Since Sebastian's usually on part of these, do you know which episodes he's written? Are there ones that you enjoyed?
Off the top of my head, I think he's only done 2 or 3
I think
episodes.
he did 3 or 4.
Several Doctor Who episodes for Matt Smith.
Yep.
And co-produced the first 2 seasons of Doctor Who spin-off Torchwood. You guys like Torchwood?
Torchwood was amazing.
fantastic.
Okay. Travis, did you enjoy Torchwood?
Yes, I love Torchwood.
Okay. So it sounds like they got
They
the
got
right
somebody
guy.
who's been there before.
Well, he also worked with Davies. He's also worked with Tennant, so he knows that original formula.
Yeah.
So my question, again, as a non-Doctor Who fan, it's just a weird question to put out there. Does this mean, do you think it means Capaldi leaves after season 10?
Capaldi has already said that season 10 will most likely be his last season. Because there's 2 reasons. One, BBC wants to make Doctor Who more of a 22-episode series. Like, a normal, like Agents
Classic
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Who.
or anything, like a classic
also
American.
like Classic Who.
Classic Who,
Because
yes.
Doctor Who used to be something like 4 episodes per story, and there were like
Yes.
4 stories a year.
Right. Yeah, they used to do it almost like what they did with the Tennant,
Which is
Were they all
the Tennant
hour-long
miniseries
shows, though? Or were they half-hours?
They were hour-long shows that were 4 to 6 episodes per singular story.
Right.
Sake is 4.
Yeah.
4 is only 16. You still got 6
Yeah,
more episodes.
no,
to do.
they vary, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
the 4 to 6 episodes per singular story, and it'd be like 4 stories a year for Doctor Who, and
Which didn't
which is a formula I'd like to see them try again.
didn't Chinball and Ethan's gonna be saying Chinball now.
Chin
Didn't he write Waters of Mars?
Signal.
Better than balls.
I think he did write Waters of Mars.
Because and that's what exactly what you're talking about was a 4-episode. It was a mini series almost.
Well, no, Waters of Mars was a
wait,
singular
talking about
movie.
Chibnall?
Yes.
Chibnall wrote the episode in 2007 called 42.
Right.
The Hungry Earth, Cold Blood, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, The Power of 3, and The Magician's Apprentice.
Anyway, solid episodes, especially the
Hungry Earth.
Hungry Earth was really good.
42 was good.
42 was also good.
The Power of 3 was interesting.
Was a fun family episode.
That was when we got introduced to Rory's dad.
Yep.
No, we actually got dinosaurs on a spaceship was the first one we
First
got
one,
in.
but it was more family.
I wonder
Right.
if that's one, what is that one about?
Where they had the spaceship.
They
Somebody was
rode
stealing
around on a
dinosaurs.
Triceratops.
Yeah,
No, it's
which is a
it's
cutesy
about
episode.
dinosaurs on a
Right.
spaceship.
No, but yeah, Capaldi's already kind of said he's
He's expecting.
expecting to leave.
But I'm sure if he decides
So-
to stay on, or if they
So Matt Smith's coming back, right?
well, see, here's the other thing about Capaldi. One
no,
of the things,
no, Tennant's coming back.
one of the things that
The girls like Matt Smith, plastic face instead of Tennant.
they do.
one of the things that Capaldi said was that 2017 or 2016 was going to be a very busy year for him, and he didn't know how many episodes he was going to be able to do anyways. So I think that could be also another reason.
That's
to,
possible. He has other projects he wants
Yeah.
to work on too.
But you know what? There is a possibility Tennant can come back the way they've established the universe now.
He won't do it.
Because we saw Baker
He'll
return.
be too busy.
Yeah, but
He
he did
did.
it for a special.
He did it for a
episode.
special.
No,
and
I
that
get
was,
that.
That was also him far off in the future,
Right. But he even says as a curator he returns to certain
Yes.
faces.
But you don't waste that for bringing him back especially when David Tennant is now an even bigger star than he was.
Correct.
So it's like no, you can't.
Yeah, Marvel.
He's got all that Marvel money now.
Yeah, Marvel and
You don't
he's
got-
doing
you don't gotta do Doctor
he's
Who.
doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Again, because of time travel, if they wanted to bring him back for another special,
Right.
that's way
He's in-
easier.
He's in TMNT too?
No. He's Fugitoid in the cartoon.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow! All the great voices in that show. I didn't realize that was him. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, so are you excited, Travis? I mean, because you haven't watched the series since Tennant left.
Yeah, that's true. I watched the first 4 of Matt Smith, and then that's when I jumped ship.
Like,
And
this
I
guy's
told you
way
guys the
too
other day, they were doing a marathon on BBC America the other day of the Capaldi stuff, and I watched 2 episodes of that. And the one that stuck out in my head was the I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's a train in space where the mummy's trying to kill him and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're on the Orient
And-
Express.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that episode turned me on. So now I'm kind of considering going back for Capaldi. But
Did-
yeah, I was turned off from Matt
Again,
Smith
as a non Doctor Who fan, I saw the first episode with Capaldi, and I was very interested in him. I wasn't interested in the universe enough around it to stick with it. But I really liked him, which means to me it's kind of a shame that he probably wouldn't be continuing.
Right.
Because
I
it
would
feels
like
like
it-
it would be a clean break in terms of a showrunner, and it might be something where I jump in, but you know.
See, I'd love to see Capaldi with a different writer. I'd love to see Gaiman write for him because I think that would be a great one. Because the last really good Neil Gaiman one was the Doctor's Wife,
Yes.
and that was an amazing episode. As far as Capaldi and Mikey, you can weigh in on this. I didn't introduce everybody that's on the show this week, but
That's okay. I'm sure everyone figured it out.
yeah, Mikey, you.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Ethan's here too.
Yeah, you and Sebastian
What?
are still watching the show as I am. Did you feel as I did the latter half of season 9? It got much better,
I thought so.
Yes.
I thought it was
and
much
the
better.
Christmas special was
It was
superb.
really good.
Oh yeah, I love this year's Christmas special.
Which
It's
you
compared
would
to last
like,
year's.
Travis? You would like this year's Christmas special because it harkened back to the library when you first meet River
Oh.
Song.
Okay, then I'm gonna have to watch
It
All right.
wrapped up a lot of her storyline from that episode,
Oh, okay, cool.
and I thought it was done very well. And there was it was a nice way to tie up. If they never, and we've kind of talked about this before, if they never bring River Song back, they brought her storyline full circle.
Right. My one gripe, especially with Peter Capaldi, is that he's really good, but the episodes haven't been very good. And I feel like, it's a guy coming from the major leagues going down.
He's
a
the best part of every episode.
Yeah, he's going
doesn't-
down a level, and he's just out acting the
Do you think-
material given to him.
Do you think he would be better
I
with a
don't
different
know.
companion?
No, not even so much the companion, but I think somebody with a different sensibility. If he had been in the Russell T Davies series, I think era, he could have done really well.
Oh, yeah.
And if he stays around for one season for the next guy's tenure, I would be far more interested to see what they would do. Because again, a completely different writing style. The guy who runs Broadchurch and the way he runs a show from Stephen Moffat, who basically threw out all his ideas from the 90s in 1.5 seasons of Doctor Who and honestly felt like he had nothing left
Right.
for the rest of his tenure. And a
A lot of people were saying that. A lot of people were.
I'd like to see
especially
some.
last year. were
I
saying
want to
that's
see
what-
new blood in the series, and I think the showrunner choice that they've made is a good way to bring a different sense of style to the show.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Well, and with season 10, we'll get a new companion. We'll still have the same Doctor, and hopefully it will last. I would love to see him last.
And again, on the companions, I liked Russell T Davies changing the companion every season.
Yeah.
Versus Stephen Moffat keeping them around way past their welcome to the point where you begin to dislike them as characters.
Well, and even with Davies, even if you had the same companion, there were multiple companions that would interchange.
He would also jump in with like a one-off companion for an episode
Uh-huh.
every so often, and Stephen Moffat's like, "No, you're getting 3 seasons of Amy Pond, and you were going to hate her at the end,
Yeah.
even though that's not my intent. I'm just going to make you sick of these characters."
Yeah.
and
I thought Amy was everybody's favorite.
not by the end of that.
No, I don't. Well, every poll that
Not
they
after
do,
Stephen Moffat was done with her. she
every
wasn't.
poll that they do now that they put when they put the companions, Rose still ends up being the top,
and Sarah Jane.
and Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane will always be the top, the top.
I'll take Martha.
Martha was great. Martha Jones, and even because
Martha Jones.
and it,
Barnaby Jones.
he was also just very able. Russell T Davies was just very good about, okay, I'm going to do everything I want with this character, and then I'm going to be finished. I'm not going to stick around with these characters versus other ones that feel like, oh, I'm contractually obligated to be in 2 or 3 seasons.
Right.
And it's like, but all my ideas are spent in one. Now I just have to like, okay, what can I do with the character I'm finished with? And that's what it sort of felt like. I'm just kind of done with you, and nothing I have left matches your characterization or anything I've built up. So
No, I agree with that.
one companion a season is good enough for me. It also, again, you're supposed to watch the Doctor through the companion's eyes, and getting new perspectives is easier when you're changing them out often.
Well, and as we saw with Clara, the Doctor and her literally changed places.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was.
And then you hate her as a character because she's starting to be arrogant and she's getting people killed because she thinks she's better at the Doctor's job than the Doctor. And
Right.
You kind of just like, again, you've wasted all you have. Now it's just like, I think I can do this job better than you. And he goes, yeah, all right. Put your money where your mouth is. I'm going to let you take point on all of our adventures. and she has just a bloodbath of bodies behind her through complete incompetence, and you go like, I don't like you as a character. Why aren't you developing?
Okay, so what do you guys think about the spinoff? The what's it called? The Wall, the Class, or
Intrigued.
something?
Intrigued? I'll check it out.
I have no clue. I'll probably watch the first episode just
Yeah.
to see what it is.
There's not enough information to make any sound judgments.
They
on it.
haven't said anything, but now everybody's clamoring for the Clara Me, or what was her name originally? Oh shit, I can't think of her name now.
Maisie Williams.
Yeah, Maisie
Maisie
Williams.
Williams.
Maisie
Don't look at
Williams
me. I
character.
have no idea.
Maisie Williams' character, yes.
Yeah, they want that as a spinoff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Quick, let's get to Star Wars before we go through a whole episode.
Okay, so let's go Star Wars. Star Wars had some big news this week that had everybody in an uproar.
Why? That's the thing I don't understand.
I didn't either.
It's a stupid uproar.
I wasn't much of an uproar. I was just
Yeah,
kind of
well,
No,
like,
there
oh,
was
okay.
enough people that I saw.
It being pushed back
see what
to
it was.
December?
So episode
4 months,
8
yeah.
got pushed
Episode
back.
8.
Well, I guess it would be
Oh my
7 months.
god, it got pushed back.
They got pushed back to December.
December 15th,
December.
2017.
I'm more the thing that worries me more so than the date. And I saw a lot of posts with people like, "Oh, I can't believe it's more. We're not going to get 2 movies in 6 months because Rogue One is in December
Yes,
and then
it
it's
is.
supposed to be in May." Oh, no. The uproar for me, not uproar. The thing that concerned me was some of the reasoning behind it was that they're rewriting the movie
Correct.
based off of the rumored reaction to Episode 7.
Yes.
The characters, the new characters.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what scares me. Like,
No,
I
that
knew they
totally
have to
freaks me out.
rewrite it in some form because
JJ left and he didn't.
well, also the original draft of Episode 7 has Poe die.
right.
Right.
Who then they said, no, we'll just have him in here. So he would ostensibly be a character in the next film. So you would have to do those rewrites as that sort of outline when you first finished the first draft of Episode 7, or what was going to be the final draft of Episode 7. You probably didn't touch 8 as you continued to go through
Correct.
it. But to have it, the story be that massive rewrites are being written by Rian Johnson and the writing team, and that was part of forcing them to get to a December date instead of May. That's the thing that kind of scares me, is when you start rewriting your film based on Twitter. Oh, everybody likes this. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll put this in.
the
That's
1,000
thing.
people who complained equals 1 billion human beings,
Yeah.
and we have to
that's-
change
that.
it.
That was the thing that scared me. Now, who knows?
The-
I mean,
yeah,
hopefully
But
it'll
it
be.
could also be the fact that they just done $2 billion do opening in December.
Well, I don't think that.
I think it's. I honestly think it's not only the rewrites, but they don't want. Disney doesn't want to step on their own toes, and I think that's a smart
That's
decision.
what I thought.
See, when Episode 7 first moved,
Mm-hmm.
we all were like, "That's not a big deal." Boo-hoo,
It's not a Star
it's
Wars
not the
thing.
classic
Yeah.
thing. But we all said, JJ comes out and basically says, "I can give you a crappy movie in May, or I can give you a
Mm-hmm.
really good movie in December. Why wouldn't you do it?" Because, as I said, you could have opened that movie in the middle of February on Mars, and it still would have made $100 million in its
Right.
first day. That movie is bulletproof.
Travis, are you okay there?
I'm great.
Because you had this sour look on your face, like
Were you upset at the idea that it might open on Mars and you'd have to go there to see it?
Well, that would ruin my day.
Yeah, okay. But in terms of what Sebastian says, if you realize if that movie had come out when it was supposed to, it would have only been 3 weeks after Avengers.
Correct.
Or 2 weeks after Avengers.
Correct.
Why would Disney compete with itself?
and now they're talking. If you opened Episode 8, it would be 2 weeks after Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah. And before something? What else is that year? I don't remember what's that year. Anyway.
There's
what else is
something.
next year?
Is it
Thor.
Strange?
No, Thor.
Strange is
Strange
this
is
year.
this year.
Strange is
Strange
fall
is
this
this
year.
It's
Yeah,
Thor.
But Thor's late summer, fall?
June. I thought it was.
Thor ends up being the second half of the year movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's either August or November, I think.
But it gives them a chance. And they're moving Pirates 5 there, I guess.
But
now.
that's the other thing. Is Pirates 5 is 2017.
Yeah. Where was it originally?
I think it was 2017.
But where? But
it
where?
was
Like,
like
are they
in
moving
June-
it up a
in
couple
June.
of
I
months?
think it was in June.
So they're just moving it up a month.
Look, here's the thing. When they first announced Rogue One would be coming out in December, it was on this podcast. We went, never. It will. 8 will never come out in May.
I don't think we said never, but it was the same thing we said with 7, where we would not be surprised. Again, you can move that movie
Anywhere. Right.
You don't need to have kids sitting there on a summer day out of school going, "What do you want to do today?" I guess we'll go see Star Wars.
Right.
It's an event movie. It doesn't matter where the hell it's going
And it
to
fits
open.
with the holidays.
And it's it's if you're gonna do new stuff, that's one of my reactions to people are like, but it's not traditional. I'm like, who cares? You build your new traditions.
Right.
It's okay, we're Venture Brothers fans,
Just
Chris. We know
Take
how to
over the
wait.
Lord of the
Oh,
Rings.
for the love of God.
Yeah,
The Lord of the Rings was all in
traditions.
December.
Yeah. Well, when does the new park attractions open? Is that
2017.
Is it 17?
Yes, because this year is the year they're constructing it.
Right. Because
At
I thought it was.
least. They haven't given an end
I thought
date.
it was like January 2018.
There's
no end date because I don't think they want to promise something that they
That
may
they-
not be
I
able
think they
to
were
deliver.
saying it would take at least a year
At
for
least
them
a
to
year.
build
Right.
everything.
2017
Maybe
is the earliest projected because this year is the year they're breaking down and constructing. Because not only are they building Star Wars Land, they're doing new changes to the rivers of America,
Right.
which look gorgeous. There's
the
going to be a
paintings for it look
waterfall. They're going to
fantastic,
go
so-
over a train
There's
trestle.
there's a new trestle. They're going to reduce parts of the
Right.
island.
No, I get
so
that.
on
I'm
and so
just
forth.
wondering. I was just wondering if the park opening will coincide with one of the movie.
I don't think-
around
I
the
don't-
time of
The
the
same
movie.
thing.
I don't
I don't
think
think
you
they
have to.
care
I don't think you have to.
because they can do as this season of the Force in the park. For people who don't know, some of the park attractions have changed, and there's a lot of Star Wars all over Tomorrowland and
Right.
there's Hyperspace Mountain and stuff like that. They're just going to do that every single winter.
Well,
now.
they'll do it until it opens.
Yeah, that's why you can.
And then
you
it'll
have
be
Christmas
Star Wars.
everywhere else, and then you have Star Wars in Tomorrowland.
Yeah, and then you'll have Star Wars Land when it
Open up
opens
spring
for
break.
the extra movies to just do big celebrations in Star Wars Land. You can keep it segregated from the rest of the park.
Yeah.
Not creating a lot of excess traffic. They're giving Star Wars a space.
But
More
back to episode 8. One of the things that we also heard was that the episode 9 writers and directors said that we will learn Rey's family in 9. Basically, they basically alluded to that we'd learn her
I
family
think
heritage.
they said basically it could be as
Yeah.
far as 9 before we see it.
Palpatine's daughter.
Oh God,
Did you hear the one where she's the reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker?
no.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Or then it was the other one was the midi-chlorians made her. That's why she's so good at everything.
Chick Jesus.
Um,
So yes,
Yeah.
it's an
Chick Jesus.
yeah, Chick
okay,
Jesus.
Travis. So where are we at with Star Wars numbers?
Star Wars at this
A lot.
time right now is sitting on the biggest pile of cash domestically ever.
So you're saying it was
right
successful?
now- so it's been slightly successful.
It's pretty good for an indie film.
So as of right now, domestically, it's at $879 million. Foreign, it's over $1 billion. So altogether, by the end of this next week, they will have gone over the $2 billion mark.
Did you guys?
This last weekend, it dropped a little bit. It only made $14 million, which is less than $2 million less than the number one movie, which was The Revenant, and that was only $16 million. So it's still holding extremely strong at number 2.
Speaking of that, did you guys mention last week? Because I missed last week's show. Did you guys mention the fact that I was totally completely wrong and that Ride Along 2 beat it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, for the love of God!
Yes.
I was
And
so
then,
mad when I saw that.
Then Ethan was the one who tried to say no. That you had said that it was going that Ride Line 2 was going to beat it, and I was like, no.
I was adamant that nothing would beat it until Deadpool.
Yeah.
I was wrong. Stupid.
It got beat by
funny 'cause
two movies
I
last
saw
week.
that just before our valued customers, which is a webcomic online, had one that says, I bought two tickets to see Force Awakens because I'm a Star Wars fan, and I bought 2 more tickets because I think Avatar being the number 1 movie in the world sucks.
Well, that's what I was going to ask Travis. Does it say on there where Star Wars now ranks, and how far behind?
I think it's still number 3, right?
Yeah.
In the all-time?
Yeah.
So domestic, it has the number 1 record for the domestic all-time. It has a number 1 rated PG-13. It's a number 1 all-time.
Well, if you're number 1 all time, you're going to beat all the other categories.
Yep. Worldwide,
worldwide.
it's still Avatar with $2.788 billion. Titanic is still holding number 2 at $2.186 billion. Star Wars: The Force Awakens is in 3rd place with $1.94 billion. So
That to me is honestly shocking that it's still that far behind Avatar.
I'm surprised it's that far behind Titanic.
But what
Also-
Avatar? What did you say with Avatar? 2.8 ish.
No. Avatar is almost 2.8. It's $2.788 billion.
So it's still
worldwide.
what, $750 million behind?
And here's the biggest thing that you need to understand with Avatar. Avatar's, when you break down what they made around the world, its domestic box office only made up a quarter of its total box office.
Oh yeah, no, I know
All
it
of
was a huge
yeah,
worldwide film.
It was in the other regions
Yeah.
where it really made its money.
The other parts of the world that we don't care about, but still. So, what did he 2.8 and 1.9?
So it's 2.788 billion for Avatar.
So almost
all time.
2.8.
Yeah, so round it up.
And Star Wars: Force Awakens is if we're rounding up, Star Wars is at 2 billion.
So it still has $800 million to do in order to be number one.
And it's already losing
Correct.
steam at this point.
And it is. it's
But
lost
here's
a
the
lot of
thing.
steam.
Isn't
They know they've been tracking it. They know that it will end up beating Titanic and come in at number 2. But at this point, everybody's pretty much written it off.
I'm going to be
for-
completely honest. I blame Rich because he saw more Guardians of the Galaxy more times than he saw Star Wars.
But here's the thing. Didn't
Wow, what a prick!
I've
Didn't,
seen Star Wars
um,
5 times now. All right,
That's low for you.
I know.
You saw Guardians with 8, 9?
No, 6.
No, it was like 8.
It was
I
6.
think it was 8.
all right? So, but didn't Avatar also get re-released in the theaters like after a big massive campaign too? That's kind
Yes.
of
Yes, it did.
helped them out.
And most
So-
of their ticket sales are 3D because that's what everybody wanted
All
to
of
see
it was
in.
3D,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Wasn't it 3D only?
I want to
No.
say there was 2D showings, but
Where does
most
Star
everybody wanted
Wars
to see
and
in
does it
3D.
say anything about where Star Wars stands with IMAX 3D with Avatar 3D IMAX?
That is a really good question. Let's go back to their all times.
Let's all be
see if it
silent
has
and
an
let Travis
IMAX
work.
breakdown.
Give it just completely
Let's
nothing.
just be silent.
Um,
Travis works.
I was trying to think
Right?
if there's
Yeah.
any
Let's everybody be quiet while I look it
Star Wars toys for last year did $700 million. That's
Imagine what they would have done if those toys were good.
I know, or available.
exactly.
But that's still look at
Well,
what
$700 million in the bulk of your toys came out in September.
700 million plus the 200. Excuse me, 700 million. So you're at 2.7 billion right now with the toys and the movie itself, plus another. Well, I think we said it was almost like 800 million for the video games.
Yeah, but you're also
so for
toys. You're also
IMAX
other merchandising.
That's
Think of
So for
bed
the
sheets
IMAX
and
breakdowns.
T-shirts and oranges
Right.
and toilet paper
And
and
water bottles and
Yeah. Cereal.
all-time IMAX feature-length movie numbers. Star Wars: The Force Awakens is number 1, and Avatar is number 2.
So that's what I was wondering because I knew it had a very, very big IMAX push.
well, everyone had to
And
get those
Jurassic
posters.
World is number 3, and Marvel's The Avengers, the first one, is number 4.
Interesting. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, the Star Wars juggernaut. I think it's just every year it's
I
going
just-
to be like this.
I thought it would actually.
Now here's a question for you, and I think we've kind of hinted on this before, but I wanted to ask you: if the next movie, whether it be Rogue One or 8 or both, don't live up to this movie,
The next movie
is it Rogue One? I know, but
one of the next 2 movies. Nothing
can ever live up
these
to the-
films is going to do this. It's
Right,
the same
no.
thing. Episode 1 as an inferior film still had way more buzz about it than Episode 2 or
Right.
Episode
Right.
3 did, because it's that length of time in between. When we see Episode 8, it'll only be 2 years since Episode 7 and only a year since the last Star Wars major motion picture. It's never going to be like this.
Is it
just
going to be a
isn't.
failure if a Star Wars movie doesn't make $1 billion?
No, because you've already made all your money back.
Right.
Yeah, they already made their money. Now it's all cream on top.
Those episodes 8 and 9, they'll be in the domestic top 10.
Yes.
Just like for the longest time,
All the
Star
other
Wars,
Star Wars.
Empire, and
Uh-huh.
Return of the Jedi were, until ticket prices just skyrocketed.
Right.
And started knocking stuff out when you get even weird films like Pirates or Frozen or whatever that starts knocking those films out, even with their re-releases. But I'm sure if you adjust the 3 originals would still be in the top 15.
Yeah.
You know,
But I think they'd still do really well. But it's not like you're going to get a lot of people who are going to continue to go back and watch.
But what I'm saying is,
$600,
would-
$700 million for each.
if
of
they
those.
don't do at least $1 billion, are they a failure?
no.
No.
No, but I'm sure
Especially
there will be
Rogue One.
headlines calling it that.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Ju-
especially
just like there
especially-
were for Avengers 2, which was only shy by like 200 million, and they're like, oh, it's failure.
Right.
They failed us.
Well, Avengers 2, I think that's a different sort of beast. Because
It is a different beast.
That type of franchise, because there isn't a big lead. Star Wars is so successful 15 years ago,
Right.
so successful 35 years ago, and those big breaks, you expect the first one to do really well
Right.
and then get diminishing returns. Something like Avengers, I'm sure Disney was hoping that the build would keep going.
Right.
Because I would almost guarantee you that, well, almost guarantee you that Infinity War Part 1 is going to beat the original Avengers film.
Yeah, because it's going to be
I
be
think the
that
hype
new,
for that film. is
I'm
gonna be
almost
insane.
betting Cap
the
3 will
culmination.
do it.
It's the culmination,
know.
and it's all of the it's a large portion of the characters that
Yeah.
we've seen over the years coming back.
Well, when
Well,
you're
I think
talking,
people are
I
just
mean, as
excited
many
for
as
that
many
idea.
characters as they're predicting are going to be in this, or close to that.
And the fact there's new blood with it, with the Russo brothers
Right.
directing it, and I just think you'll see more multiple
Casting
viewings.
choices that
Yeah,
come
I
out.
mean, Age of Ultron. How
between now
many of
and
us here saw Age of Ultron more than once?
Me,
Yeah, you were the only one. I saw Avengers 4 times. I only saw Age of Ultron once. I still haven't seen the
That's
complete
true.
film. Even when we
I'm
watched
the
it
same
last
on that.
night, we were just like, yeah, I'm sort of half watching it.
it will see to me. Even watching it, it's not as fun of a film. As, I mean, I'm going to use Guardians because Guardians is one of those films. So just like Pirates of the Caribbean 1, that I can watch multiple times. When it's on, if there's nothing else that's pressing for me to watch or something, I can just leave it on.
Oh, no, but there's other things pressing for you to watch. It's still on.
I did watch Guardians over the weekend.
Yeah, you did. No, it's never going to have that moments that Avengers does, because Avengers is such a unique experience in that the way Marvel built it in terms of here's 4 of the most popular characters we've ever had. You're going to wait a couple of years after the first really, really good film. You're going to see 2 films of Iron Man. You're going to see a Thor. You're going to see a Cap. You're going to see, and then we're going to see everybody get together, and you get new characters with it that people were really excited about in terms of Hawkeye and Black Widow. You have the best villain, the only good villain they've ever had. You throw everything into that mix, shake it up. You have a very good, enjoyable, fun film. Age of Ultron has so many different, and it has
it's the same
moments
film
for
that's
me.
already been.
Yeah, and, well, there's moments for me. That
But the
just really
hype of
ruin
seeing
that
everybody
film.
together is already gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Which brings me to DC. If you're going to show everybody in Batman v Superman, when you get to the Justice League movie, have you already killed your excitement for it? I mean,
No, that trailer killed the excitement for it.
well, because as more and more comes out, it seems like almost every character from the Justice League movie is going to be
and
in
they've already
this
basically said it. They're almost all going to be in it.
in some way, shape, or
Will
form. Yeah.
will it
Dawn
kill
of
the movie?
Justice.
I think Justice League will take a hit. It's not going to be a massive hit, but it's going to take a little.
Here's
bit
what
of a
could
hit.
Do you think it would
Hold
do
on.
numbers of
It'll take
the first Avengers?
It'll take a ding because it's not. It's like, well,
Hold
I've
on,
seen
hold
these
on.
guys together
This is-
already.
This is how you save the Justice League movie. You give it, if Dawn of Justice sucks as bad as we think it's going to, if Justice League has a different director, different writer, different tone, how much more excited would you be to go see Justice League going, they already gave me my shit sandwich. I want to go get something good.
Oh yeah.
That's where I think it could actually save it in that, all right, they already tried this. I got a very dark, gray, weird, tonally, Superman's going to kill Batman for no reason. Don't turn the light on or else I'll kill you. What the hell? What is going on with that film?
Well,
So
okay.
no more Snyder,
film
right?
is-
but then,
no more
Zack,
Snyder.
but
No
then
more
Zack
Snyder.
Snyder won't have a career anymore.
Did
He
everybody
can go
saw
back to doing indies.
everybody saw the Suicide Squad trailer, right?
Yes.
No, I didn't see it.
But really?
I don't.
I did see it.
I really don't care.
I saw the trailer. And
Suicide Squad is weird. Okay, just sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
Sebastian, but Suicide Squad for me is weird because it's a movie that I will go see, but I really couldn't care less to see anything one way or the other. I'm not excited for it, but I'll go see it. Where I've gone out of my way to watch the Batman v Superman one, going, I don't want to see that film.
But did you guys that did see it? Did you feel more excited about Suicide Squad than you
No.
did about Batman v Justice?
I did.
I watched,
Batman v
I
Superman?
watched Suicide Squad and went, what a beautifully edited trailer. Too bad all the scenes looked terrible. And then my second thought was immediately, I did already see Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't really need to see it again. And
I
then
was more
like-
excited.
then
I
I
liked
hit
it.
the X and I moved on.
Duh,
It was
he
a
just
beau-
said it's Guardians of the Galaxy. No wonder why you're excited.
I mean, it was really well edited as a trailer. The musical beats, really well cut. That guy needs
Yeah.
to do more work.
It's the best
I
trailer
heard
of the year.
I heard a lot of people saying they got the logo right. The logo looks amazing.
The colors looked
Yeah.
awesome too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the cinematography. Despite the costume design being TV show level, which says a lot about how much money they put into the film and into the people's salaries that are in it.
Right.
Mostly, it's just like,
I'm in it, whoa! Woo!
Exactly.
He's going to get nominated for an Oscar for that one.
He got the costume budget.
Dude,
basically.
he is not surviving that film. I guarantee you he dies in that film.
I originally was not excited about that movie coming out. I was like, I probably won't see it. But seeing this trailer, yeah, I want to see it.
Okay, then the reason I bring up Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad is because DC has announced that they are doing a relaunch of number ones starting in June.
And the titles are specifically targeting the characters featured in those films.
Right. And
Yes.
I know that, Chris, we've had this debate left and right, and every time Marvel does something new, and every time a movie comes out...
Well, Marvel
it's-
doesn't do anything new.
Right. Well, it
The
seems
numbers
like
are new.
It seems like they're trying to cater more to the movie-going audience as they progress.
They
to
are-
me, this seems like an outright,
Yes.
deliberate move to try to tie those two
They are
worlds
trying,
together.
and I think me and Chris, we've had the discussion many times, is that on the Venn diagram of comic book fans and movie fans, they don't meet.
Right.
Comic book fans tend to be movie fans. Movie fans do not tend to be comic book fans.
I agree with that.
There's not a lot of crossover between the two, and they're trying to be like, but they always do it though, and it's not DC making a first time attempt. Every time a movie comes out, they always try and push those characters. But this is on I think.
Well, that's just smart publishing.
It is very smart publishing.
The thing with this, we talk about Marvel and DC. DC and Time Warner are much closer in terms of partnerships because they've been owned by Time Warner for so much longer than Marvel is with Disney.
Correct.
As much as Marvel as a publisher tries to do things that are based on the movie, they really don't. You have a major event this summer. Everyone's clamoring about the conspiracy theory that Marvel is throwing away the Fantastic Four because they want to screw over Fox. Which, again, not having a comic book means absolutely nothing to a film.
Right.
The summer event is a Fantastic Four event. Secret Wars that just wrapped up is a story about Reed Richards and Doctor Doom. That's it. That's the whole story.
But
You
don't
have-
tell me
right.
because I haven't finished it.
You have... Well, you already know that.
Yes.
That those-
that I
those-
do know.
those
It's
two
the
char-
whole,
yes.
their family, yes.
It's Jonathan Hickman wrapping up the final storylines that
That he's
he's
been
kind of
working
left put
on
there for whatever.
for a
Correct.
long time.
But here's the thing: when people are like, "Oh no, they're doing stuff based on the movie. They're basing on the movie." Okay, there's a Guardians of the Galaxy 2 coming out, right? Who's on the Guardians team? The Thing.
Oh, yes. But that's
Who's
not
on-
until next year.
No, the Thing's on the Guardians.
He's
But
right
that's
now.
the same.
No,
You
I
have
mean-
you have a title that is a movie title.
Okay.
In stores right now, it features a character that they can never use. Marvel Publishing doesn't care about anything that Disney would turn around and tell them to do. Marvel Publishing looks at it and says, if however many millions of people are going to go see Deadpool, we're going to put some more Deadpool comics out.
Right.
But they're not going to it's not going to look like the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool.
Right.
He's not going to deal with the other X-Men characters that are in it. There's not a specific Deadpool, Colossus, and Megaton Girl, whatever, the other character.
Megateen.
Whatever. Explosion Girl. There's no comic that's going to feature those specific characters.
Right.
Even when they did Avengers Assemble, that was Marvel as a publishing house, not Disney telling Marvel, do a book with the 5 Avengers that are in the movie. That was Marvel as a publishing house going, we should probably put one of those out, because if anybody walks in, it makes it easier for a retailer to go buy that book.
Right.
Those are the 5 characters you're following. Because the Avengers books at the time were almost indecipherable to someone that would walk
Oh,
in.
yeah. If you were brand new to comics in general, you would have never figured it out.
So that's...
Okay, but what about taking Star-Lord and specifically Rocket Raccoon and making them look and act more like the characters in the movie?
That depends on which book you're
go,
buying and who's
go back.
drawing.
Hold on. Go all the way back to 2000. What?
To Iron Man.
No.
Oh,
Go back
to
to
even
2000,
X-Men. Yes.
The X-Men. All of a sudden, Logan gained 6 inches.
Yes.
He was
Yeah.
5'6" compared to Scott Summers being 6'1".
So the publishing house is
and
picking and choosing.
immediately, when that film came out, Logan was drawn eye to eye with Scott Summers.
Right.
Because
Yep.
it was just a little piece. Again, at that time, there was no corporate overlords to Marvel. Marvel said, this is a good idea for us.
Right.
That sort of thing. They dumped the whole idea of him being a runt.
And as Tony Stark developed, with Robert Downey Jr. out there.
But even if you read Matt Fraction's run, which is all post Iron Man, he's not Robert Downey.
Oh, no,
Jr.
no. He's not.
It's a very different character. So it's this DC.
But when you
feels,
read-
but the thing is, DC feels different because this is very much a targeted time. I would believe someone who would tell me the quote unquote conspiracy theory that Time Warner tells them, make a Batman v Superman title, make another Suicide Squad title, which is successful for a couple of months, and then it fails. It's
Right.
already been relaunched since the New 52 as the new Suicide Squad.
It's already
because
had
it
two
changed.
new number ones.
But it's
hasn't
all.
it?
But that's
No, it has
also
two number
But that's
ones.
also not necessarily a secret because when DC relaunched into the New 52, Warner Brothers said exactly that we're being more hands-on with it, and they even put one of they put the person who was running the Harry Potter franchise for their film division specifically as the head of DC Comics, so they could have someone they could directly communicate to.
And let's not forget, DC Comics just moved to
They moved
Los
to LA
Angeles
because
yeah.
they're putting their divisions together
Yeah.
so they can talk to each other.
So that's not necessarily a secret. Warner Brothers told them to relaunch
Yes.
everything.
But what
Right.
this feels like, it's not, let's clarify this. It's not a New 52 launch.
No.
It's not
No.
a,
It's
it's
not a
reimagining
it's not a
of the universe.
re-universe
Right.
launch. It is that what was the thing that they just called it? I saw it on CVR.
They're calling it Rebirth. is what-
Yes, Rebirth.
Yeah, and it's
What
they-
it feels like is much like Marvel Now, which came off of the event of AVX. It wasn't as much that AVX changed the Marvel Universe. It was the fact that all the creators, the big name creators, left their books. Brian Michael Bendis finished up Avengers. Matt Fraction finished up Iron Man. Hickman had finished up, or Remender finished up X-Force. All the creators switched, and the publishing house looked at it and said, well, if we're going to have all these creators switch, let's just make all new number ones.
Right,
And
because
they've done
people
it-
are too
they've done it
afraid to
16
buy.
times
Well,
since.
did you
That's
see
also
what,
because people are too afraid to jump into issue 16 of a book.
That's the biggest problem.
Did you see what Bleeding
They-
Cool called it? They called it this could be the all new, all different, a little bit TV shows DC Comics.
Yeah, the bigger part of it is that what it looks like you're going to see is even somehow the percentage-wise of the line is going to be much heavier into Batman/Harley,
Yes.
which means they'll probably reduce the number of Superman titles, even though
Which
there's
there's also a Gotham tie-in. book.
yeah. Well, the Flash, Arrow are going to be, still sort of there.
Right.
I'm kind of afraid what changes they'll make to the Green Arrow book because it's not like Arrow the TV series.
Right.
But your ancillary stuff is just going to disappear. The type of stuff that they went through their kind of not relaunch, but they launched a lot of new titles last year, and in not only rebranding stuff like Suicide Squad into new Suicide Squad, Teen Titans into new Teen Titans, but
Harley had a
well, Harley was part of, but it's more like Cyborg and Bizarro as a miniseries,
Right.
and Red Hood and Red Hood and Arsenal took over for Red Hood and the Outlaws, Batman Beyond. All these type of titles, none of them succeeded in a way that they wanted them to. The hope is that they don't do 52 titles again and just really concentrate on making whatever they have.
Well, they said the new
better.
line's going to be even more dominant with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, and Suicide
Well,
Squad.
that's what the
related
that's what the
titles.
pundits are thinking it's going to be. DC hasn't said completely what they're doing, except that a lot of titles are getting, getting new number ones, and they may have a shift in their titles, much like what Marvel does in the case of something like Wolverine, where it was all new Wolverine, and then it was all new, all different Wolverine, and then it was Wolverine, the Wolverine series, or whatever the hell they want to call it. That's a 4 number one.
Well, they've also talked that there's going to be a new Titans book. Which,
Yeah, it's a new Titans book that isn't teen.
Right, they're dropping to teen.
so it'll
Which,
be
because
Titans.
the TV show that they're still planning is Titans.
I don't think they're ever going to do
It
that.
didn't get picked up.
They got totally.
I thought it didn't get
Yeah.
picked up, but I thought TNT or somebody else decided that they were going to still.
No,
It was
TNT
originally
was the one that said
TNT.
Then it was FX or somebody was going to.
no one's going to pick that up. Look, if you're not going to do, if Greg Berlanti's not running it, it's not going on the air.
Right.
Apparently from DC, unless it's
Yeah, that's a
Gotham,
good
but
point.
other than that, the only ones people like are either the CW show or the one that feels a lot like it, which is Supergirl. So it's the bigger issue in terms of readership is what Sebastian mentions. Nobody picks up in number 16,
Right.
and that's the
But
problem.
you've said that. You said that a long time.
I've said that for 5
Yeah.
years. This is what we've, as an industry, this is what we cater to because that's what fans want. It's the same thing when fans go, nobody wants to buy events. Well, then why is Secret Wars 1 through 9 the 9 most ordered books in 2015?
Right.
Yeah.
Shops aren't ordering it thinking no one's going to buy it. Shops aren't ordering it when they know no one's going to buy it. There's no shop that says, well, I'm going to order 200 copies of number 1 because I know I'm only going to sell 5 of them. But I'm going to order 200 just for the heck of it. No one is doing that.
Right.
You order 200 because, honestly, Secret Wars #1, you'll sell through 125, 100.
Well, let's just look at the new 52. When there were, 52 new titles in the month of September, or end of August through September.
Many shops were really, really, really stupid about it.
Right. But those #1s sold. I think between you, me, and Mikey, we picked up almost all 52 of them.
We picked up, I think it was 47, because I read 47 of the 52 titles between the three of us.
Right. So,
but it's also,
it works.
I think the other thing is that there's still this mindset.
Worked.
Yeah,
it really
does work. But it's also, I think, the perceived mindset that comic books are still an investment in this day and age. I think plays into a lot of the #1s because, I want something that's collectible. And
you think so? That
yes.
more so than
yes. There are people who buy a #1 and then
never
come back.
Do you remember those days?
No, I remember.
Because that's always my favorite story. Because Justice League 1 was released August 31st, and no one was in the shop.
Right.
We used to go to the shop right when it opened, 11 o'clock, right, 10 o'clock, whatever. The first week, which was the Batman week, we went, and there was a few new people there, but it wasn't a big deal. And you've told the story that later in the day it got packed because the shop down the street had sold all their Batman to one guy.
They sold their entire case of the Superman issue to one person.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So, but the second week we went, when all of the fans that had come out the first week, in the late afternoon on a Thursday and on Saturday, realized that every shop was sold out.
Right.
We walked into that shop that next week, and it was jam-packed. There was 30 people in that store as soon as the door opened in order to grab as many of these things as they could. And we, who had been going to the shop for a year, every Wednesday at open, because Mikey works nice and you and I were unemployed bums.
Yeah.
We walk in and go, who the F are all these people? What are you doing in my shop? All I could think of was mall rats, like, why are these guys coming to my comic shop? Stan Lee's here. You can't come to my shop because Stan Lee's here.
No, especially working a comic book shop for almost 8 years, you'll see the people who come.
By the way, I miss you.
Oh, thank you.
God.
But you'll see them working
I
there.
miss going to the shop every week.
Working there long enough, you go. It's like Wolverine #1 is out.
Mm-hmm.
This is your 6th time in the almost decade I've been here. You've walked into the shop because you only come in for the Wolverine #1.
You see that? You see people that come in and pick up #1s because like us, we limit the number of copies that you can pick up of a title.
Right.
I see people that go to every shop in Northridge and pick up #1s. The Batman Turtles #1, which is sold out everywhere.
Right.
There's a reason it's sold out everywhere, is because the same guy came in Wednesday and Thursday and Saturday and picked up another one.
And in fact, you know,
that book is like $20.
We talked about this. Power Rangers Zero just
Oh,
came
for
out.
the love of God, Power Rangers Zero.
Although I will say that the situation is slightly different because Boom is an indie publishing house. They print on a smaller scale regardless.
Yes.
So something like 30, 40, 50,000 copies is a lot for someone like Boom.
And the fact that 30,000 copies divided by 5.
Right.
Because of the 5 different covers.
Exactly. And that was a book that people bought specifically for those collectible covers. There were sets going on eBay of all 7 covers, I think.
There were 7 covers. Sorry, there's 5
main
colors,
characters,
and then green
and then,
and white, which
right.
is a 1 in 50,
going
and a
for
1 in 100, respectively.
Going for $300 and $400 for a full set.
The thing with that, the white by
Was a
Saturday.
1 in.
Shop talk.
Yeah.
The white by Saturday was over $200.
Right.
Which I was going to save this for the end, but I'll go ahead and do it now since we are going ahead and talking about the shop. I wanted to congratulate Earth 2 Comics for making the top 10.
Earth 2 Comics
Northridge. You didn't let me finish. You did not let me finish.
Well, no, but you had it incorrect.
You didn't let me finish. They're making the top 10 in the LA Times best comic book shops.
LA Weekly.
LA Weekly. Yes, LA Weekly.
LA Weekly.
For the best comic book shops
In LA.
in Southern California, wasn't it?
It's LA in the Valley.
LA.
That's why it's specific to say Northridge, because our
Yeah.
Sherman Oaks location, which is also quite good, was also located in the Valley.
Which
Yes.
the Northridge Shore
The
store
article specifically talked about the Northridge store.
specifically talked about the Northridge store and
A
had
whole bunch of stuff that I didn't do.
the famous Wolverine picture out front of it featured. But I wanted to say
is the
congratulations to
handover.
you and to the shop.
Yeah,
'Cause-
all the stuff they called out is stuff I didn't do. But I'd like to say I created the environment in which those type of things could happen.
Yes, and
Here's the best thing with that list. So the LA Weekly top 10 list is going through the list of all that I've been to. If you take ours out, so
Yes.
put ours in. I've been to 8 of those shops.
yes,
I have no problem being in that company. Those are really, really good
and
shops.
some of them are
No, yeah.
the company of
House of
some-
Secrets.
House of Secrets was
amazing
fantastic.
store.
Comic Bug.
Comic Bug.
Meltdown.
Meltdown's in it. Meltdown would probably be one of the ones that go,
Golden Apple.
Golden Apple's the-
but when you look at when you
But here's but what I'm saying
Meltdown
is
and Golden
there's
Apple
there's
are
a
kind
lot
of have that notoriety to them.
well, there's a lot of shops that I would say I would not be proud to be in company with, and it was nice that none of those shops were on that list.
Right.
I thought the person who put the list together had a lot of the sensibilities that I have and what I'm looking for in a shop. And as I read all 10 of them, the 2 shops that I hadn't been to and the ones I had, I'm actually very proud to be in that group.
And you know, the other thing, and not being biased for it being my home shop, but when we were going around to different shops and things like that, especially you and Mikey in the very beginning, trying to find a home shop, you and then
Well,
even with
the
me,
greatest advertisement that Mike and I have is we live out here in Newbury Park.
Uh-huh.
We were going to the Sherman Oaks store. That's more than a half hour away, almost 45 minutes with traffic.
Right.
It's over 20 miles. We pass 5 other shops to get there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much that shop meant to us when we first went. And
but
it
even
still
on
continued to.
Wednesdays when we would go to multiple shops, there was a different vibe when you walk into Earth 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Well, one, it has its comics.
Plus, it's our home shop. Once we're done there, then it's just like, it's relaxing
Well,
just to go to
it's-
whatever other
it's a-
store.
A part
So-
of,
but there's
part
a
of
different
what
there's
I-
a different vibe.
Well, here's the thing. The part of what I have to do on Wednesdays is sometimes visit other shops. And let me tell you, there are other shops that I don't understand how they're still open on Wednesdays. Shops that do not have new comics out, that do not have them organized in any sort of way, that are doing polls in the middle of the day. I mean, it's like, again, the shops that we're in are not only good shops in terms of the way they are, but they're also very good customer service shops.
And
Which is
that's
what we
another
desperately try to
thing.
be.
Going back to when Sebastian was there, almost
Oh, Sebastian was terrible. He pissed off every customer.
Worst employee.
Yeah.
I mean,
George Soros still hasn't
Travis,
figured
you've gone to the Sherman Oaks one a lot. You know how it is. It's a different when you walk into both locations. You're able to find what you need, and when you can't find what you need, you have somebody there that can point you in the right direction. And
Very simply and very basically, it's a well-run business.
yes, because it's just sitting here smiling.
Off the air, Sebastian and I will talk.
So, anyways, Marvel had some.
Marvel's like, wait, us too.
Yeah, they
We
had
have announcements too.
They had a big hint a couple weeks ago that there was something returning.
D-Man.
It had the Marvel logo yellow, and it had Beware the Sting, which
Green Hornet's coming.
we all know now is the Wasp. It's a new Wasp book that's going to be coming out.
Because that's what the world is clamoring for.
Got to get ready for Ant-Man 2.
Are they canceling Hellcat?
No.
Oh wait, we missed one of the DC ones though.
We totally forgot. I got to talk about the shop.
Yeah,
Scott Snyder is
switching
leaving
books.
Batman
Scott Snyder, after this relaunch for 52, will be his last issue on the Batman title. He will switch to Detective
after
Comics.
5 years. Yes,
He's been
writing Batman specifically
writing
for
Batman
5
specifically,
years.
and it's not mentioned as who's going to go do the art with him on Detective.
It
Whether
does
it's going
not.
to be Greg Capullo or not. So maybe half of my prediction of Snyder and Capullo doing Justice League will come true.
Okay, yeah.
Well, he has
What-
a 6-month head start on what is supposed to come out with Capullo and
Yeah.
Snyder. So
As somebody, I mean, because Batman's the only book that I really read of DC, I think, anymore. And main reason was because of Snyder. I don't know if I'm going to...
Well,
Who's taking over the Batman book?
Tony Daniel.
I wouldn't put it past him. My guess would
Rob
be
Liefeld.
well, my guess would be Tomasi, but I'm not sure. They haven't mentioned anything of that.
No, it doesn't mention anything.
Batman. The thing with Snyder is Snyder's really him and Jeff are the only two like what you would consider superstar writers
Right.
there in terms of have name recognition greater than someone who goes into a stop every single week. And Jeff, because of his output with Arrow and Flash, and really running a lot of other avenues in DC, just doesn't have the time to write a lot of books.
Right.
They do have other good writers. Greg Pak is very good. Greg Pak's Superman stuff is amazing, as long as he doesn't have to do crossovers, which they force him to, and it drives me nuts. There's other good people there, but in terms of name recognition versus someone like Marvel, it has a decent stable of writers that are, I think, a brand unto themselves. So Scott Snyder doing anything is a big deal. They made a big deal about him doing Superman Unchained.
Uh-huh.
He had Animal Man and Swamp Thing that were launched,
Just
right?
Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Just Swamp
He did
Thing.
Swamp Thing,
Hey,
yeah.
Lemire did.
Them losing Jeff Lemire was probably one of the biggest things.
Right.
That's
Do you think that it's time for him to leave Batman?
no, because he's not leaving Batman. He's just going.
The main title Batman book.
Well, the thing is, the story is like, oh, this is a chance to. The way the story put it was that it gives him a chance to go do a book that's not the best-selling Batman title, and on Detective, he can kind of do whatever he wants to do with the character. That whole thing in the article, and that's not DC's quote, that's the article's quote.
Right.
That's BS, because he's been doing whatever he wants with Batman anyway. It was not a part of any of the major storylines that DC has run. It was not a part of Forever Evil. It was not a part of anything that's going on in Justice League.
It had the least amount of changes with the New 52, too.
That as well.
It had a
Lantern.
few. Yeah, that and Green Lantern. What a surprise. But no, Snyder was able to do the stories that he wants to do on Batman. He was given free reign on Batman. Now he goes to do Detective. He's going to do the same thing.
Right.
And the idea that Batman is still going to continue to be the best-selling title at DC, no matter who's put on it, is simply not true either. I mean, if Snyder's doing Detective, we're going to see orders for Detective go way up. And
Yes.
numbers for it go way up. Unless they can find somebody huge to do Batman, or Capullo stays with a new writer, which I don't think will happen, then that book could continue being at the top of DC sales charts. But I really don't. Detective's going to be the number one book. Detective was outselling Batman at the end of the New 52 because people realized that Snyder's book was better than the Batman book.
Right.
Way better than the Batman book. Which
Yeah,
if you haven't read his Detective run, his Black Mirror run, go find
It's great.
it and read it.
Yeah.
It's the best thing it's the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of changes. Comic books need to change up, and they need to freshen up all the time.
Well, they have to freshen up now because it's such that short cycle. Again, people are not buying 16s and 17s and 18s because people see those the numbers as a turnoff, and I hate it. I really do, because that mentality, I don't know where it came from. My first issue of Uncanny X-Men was 275.
Right.
I didn't really think, I haven't read 274 issues. I'm not going to be able to follow this. And not only was it 275, I was dropped in the middle of two major storylines in which the bulk of the X-Men team was in space searching for Charles Xavier in the Shi'ar Empire, and Rogue and Magneto and Kazar were with Nick Fury in the middle of the Savage Land fighting the mutates with a bunch of dinosaurs. I was able to pick up the story.
Yeah.
And then it made me go back and buy 74, 73, 72, and 71. And then X-Men 1 and Uncanny 281 started. The X-Men relaunch, in which they didn't relaunch any of the numbers for existing titles. They launched 2 new titles in X-Force and X-Men. Mm-hmm. You're able to fall into it. And Marvel has tried to do different marketing strategies to get people to think of them as number ones. For a time after Marvel Now, if the book started a new storyline, there was a huge number 1 on the cover dress in the right corner. It was really issue 24 of the series,
Right.
But it would say, A Trial of Jean Grey, number 1.
Right.
Trying to get people to say, this is a new story. Just start right here.
Yeah,
Just
they
go
tried
for
doing
it.
the point ones.
They tried doing the
and
point
people,
ones.
I
and
remember
people got pissed off.
People got pissed off, and they actually dropped their books because they were like, I don't know where a point one goes in my box, so I don't want to buy it.
Isn't that kind of the same thing as doing an annual? Because when you do once you put that
well,
annual,
the
you
point,
can.
the problem with the problem with point ones is twofold. One, the point one did not replace a book in terms of a monthly. So instead of having one book a month,
Right.
that month you had to quote unquote pay for 2 books. 2, the point one was supposed to set up the next year of storylines.
Yes.
And outside of about 4 titles, it didn't do it.
Correct.
Right.
The Hulk one was great. The Hulk one set up everything that happened in Hulk for the next year. But most of them were like retelling the origin, or this is what Cap's doing right now, 45 years ago. And so they failed in that degree, and they became something like an annual.
Right.
Which the annuals were always supposed to be, for Marvel a long time, the annuals were tryout books. They're like, we got an artist and we think he's going to be good. We'll throw him on this. Joe Quesada's first work for Marvel wasn't an annual.
Okay, but I mean, we talk about with the DC thing and Marvel. I kind of, in some of the announcements that Marvel's made, I kind of can see the same, to a degree, the same type of formula. Where we have all these movies coming out. It's also the 75th anniversary of Cap. We need to do some things that will coincide with that. One of the biggest announcements they just had was that the Thunderbolts are returning, and Winter Soldier is going to be leading the team. We're
wondering why you told me to put that on the list.
We're getting Moonstar, the Fixer, Atlantis, Mach 5.
Alanis Morissette?
Yeah, Atlas.
Iran
Atlas. Atlas is on the. Fuck. Right, whatever. But Winter Soldier's leading the team. Because Winter
So
Soldier's going to play a major part.
Did he leave the wall?
Yes.
Wow. Or the source or whatever he was doing?
Yes.
The old man on the wall, whatever the hell the end of Original Sin was?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he took over Nick Fury's job
Yes,
as
he
the
did.
protector of the...
Yes.
And
So-
then they made a really weird book that nobody bought.
Jim Zub is writing it, and John Malin is doing the art.
Never heard of John Malin. Interesting.
Anybody care? I mean, because you were a big Thunderbolts fan.
I was a Thunderbolts fan when Warren Ellis took over at Civil War, and then, for the love of God, Kev Rocker was doing the art, but who was writing it?
Was it Gage or was it
Was it Gage?
Pack? No, Pack never wore.
It may have been Christos Gage.
It might have been Christos Gage.
I know
I
he
think
wrote.
it was. He
So,
wrote it at one point.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
The Thunderbolts book was from where Warren Ellis starts. Is very good up until the end.
Well, I remember
And
reading
the best-
Civil War.
the
It was
Have you
best-
seen
amazing.
it when he was doing it with Mike Diodato?
Yes. When he had basically the Thunderbolts team in Civil War was the team of evil people that were used as hunters
Correct.
to hunt down the heroes, and so they turned it into basically it was like a Suicide Squad.
Yes.
And then it went from there. And there's the best thing with Suicide Squad was during Fear itself. It was the only title that was actually good that tied in because when the hammer hit the prison, a bunch of them escaped into a time tower, and they went way back in time, and they were like jumping up forward. Mm-hmm. And the issue with when they get to World War II with Cap is one of the best issues ever. Because there is an African American on the Thunderbolts team. And Cap it's so good to see the Negro fighting for America. I can't believe that line's in a normal comic book. Holy crap.
But Civil War number one, Civil War 2 number one,
Civil War II #1.
comes out free comic book day.
Yes.
The weekend that Cap
Yes.
3 Civil War hits
Talk about what
theaters.
we were talking about before. This is Marvel Publishing
Yes.
saying not only are we going to do a sequel to the most popular story that they've had pretty much ever, but why wouldn't we put out something that ties into a movie that's
And the
open
first
sequel?
issue being free.
Yeah. Well, they've done that for the last couple of years.
Yes.
Marvel is very, 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 very smart in terms of Free Comic Book Day. You want to talk about the difference between Marvel and DC? DC does reprints on Free Comic Book Day. They haven't done
Right.
original stuff. They did original last
Blackest
year.
Night was the
Blackest Night was the original. Was the last full size
number 0.
number 0 issue of original material. Last year was the Divergence, which set up the Superman, Batman,
DC New 52
New 52
was the first
did
one
it as
though
well,
too.
but they go into those events, but they don't always. Since Marvel always has an event in the summer, they've always used this, and they've
Right.
done a good job because it's not something. It's not a reprint, and it's not something that's going to be in the comic book that you're going to buy in 2 months.
Right. And it
know,
also features a second story in it.
It features a second story, and there's a second book.
Yes.
That Marvel always puts out 2. There's a gold book and a silver book. DC
Which-
does the same
what do you
thing.
think about all
the
new, all
DC
different?
silver book is the girls, the animated young girls style team or whatever. That's what is it? Girls of
The
then, like,
superhero
Superhero
girls,
Girls?
so like superhero high or whatever. Yeah.
Well, no, it's like this. It's the female superhero team that
Yeah.
they're doing the animated series for or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the silver size or the silver offering from DC. That's going to be the big book. Everyone's going to.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be huge. And that's again DC very smart.
Yes.
In that case, Marvel's really smart with this sort of thing. So
But do you think? I mean, because you're putting all new, all different Avengers as a second book in that, or second, it's going to be
Yeah.
in that with a Mark Waid book, which is that could be by itself.
well, that's what it
easily.
was last year.
Yeah.
The all new, all different Avengers was there was
Oh, yeah.
Secret War 0 and all new, all different
Yeah, that's
Avengers.
right.
They were basically telling you this is what the universe is going to look like for the next 4 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then in October it's going to look like this with the Avengers team. But it was a simple one shot story that kind of introduced that team.
Right.
With
and
Miss
then
Marvel and
the
Miles.
other big major announcement is that Steve Rogers is going to be young again and donning the Captain America costume. Or
With a really horrible shield.
I hated the shield as soon as I saw it.
I thought it was interesting because they
It's
were
the
like,
30
well, he needs to be Captain America again a lot faster than when he died.
I would have preferred it to look more like the 30 shield.
Yeah.
I get keeping that iconic look.
What does he have the laser shield that he had in the?
No.
No,
Yeah.
it's
In the-
the
in
it's the
way-
actual shield looking shield.
It's like the classic pointed shield that he used to have, but they're totally updating
The
it.
bad
It looks
shield.
all new, future-ishy.
Yes, the bad shield.
Yeah,
badge
but
shield
the
event?
funny thing is the bottom of it is like silver, so it almost looks like it has a knife point at the bottom of it.
Well,
It
maybe,
does have
maybe
a
he's
knife
gonna start
point.
killing people.
Is it?
No. It actually does. So I actually, when they announced it, I was like, wait, what? And I read the whole article, and the shield will actually break in half. So he has half a shield on each arm. And when the shield's one piece, an energy blade comes out the bottom of it so he can attack people with it.
Well, but the reason I brought up Cap, and I saved it for last, because it is the 75th anniversary. Did anyone think that Captain America would not be, or that Steve Rogers would not be wearing the costume for
No.
the 75th?
No.
For the
I did.
75th, no.
You
I thought you were
did?
going to mention the movie, but because
No.
we remember we talked about the fact that Avengers 2 opened when Falcon was Cap, Iron Man was drunk, and Thor was a woman.
Right.
And we were, there's no way that we're gonna release the Avengers 2 without those three characters being the classic characters. So again, Marvel Publishing doing their own thing. I'm wondering. I'm almost thinking when Cap was first when Steve Rogers was killed after Civil War, and Bucky Cap took over and proved to be very, very popular.
Yes.
It almost felt like they started to push back Steve's return. And even when Steve returned, Bucky remained with the shield.
Right.
In this case, since the all new, all different, all crazy, all awesome, Rich hates it, a Falcon takeover as Captain America, which we won't get into, that isn't as successful. We got to get Steve back a lot quicker than we wanted to.
But Sam isn't. He's still going to be Captain America. There's two Captain Americas.
Yeah, they'll do this. They did this.
Yeah, there's going to be two of them. yeah.
Which
Again,
there
you
was,
should be
yes.
really complaining
I
because
know.
that was your complaint about it.
That was
They're
my
just doing
big
the same
complaint.
thing
They're doing
again.
the same thing, in which they are.
Yep.
How long do you think it lasts? Is there going to be two?
It's permanent until they need to kill him again.
Are they going to have two Captain America books?
Yes, they already said they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
One will be a Falcon book, and one will be Steve's book.
Sam Wilson will be Falcon again.
Yes.
At some, I mean, that's you get the
And
return,
especially
you get
as
the
popular
return of
as the
Cap.
movie characters
Yeah,
becoming.
you get the return of Cap, and then you get a story a little bit later of the return of Falcon
Yes.
as he takes over the Falcon mantle from whoever is currently Falcon. Or
Is
pretending
there
to be
is there a Falcon?
There's something in the new one that says like the new Falcon or something like that, but I think he's actually
female. It's a
No,
white,
I think
it's a
no.
white female.
No, I think it's a villain.
Is it?
Yeah, if I remember right. But
So-
what have you?
It's like some random ethnicity transgender person, just so they can cover all their bases.
So, anyways, on that note, I think we're going to wrap
a
this
gay
up.
Jewish transgender Muslim is
Just so they can cover everybody.
Captain America.
And
Former
make sure
ISIS
everybody is-
member.
Yeah, everybody's included.
Donald Trump loses his mind.
So, on that note, I think we're going to wrap things up. So, make sure you check us out at facebook.com/nerdables. Also, at
Wait, did we actually get to everything? Did we
Yes.
get to everything we said we were going
I
to
think we did.
do?
I'm pretty sure we did. I don't know
Civil
why
War
we're
II,
getting
Civil
higher in our
War.
voice here, but yeah. So-
we can do Chris Caspino.
We're on Facebook, Nerdables.
Are we?
We're on Twitter, at Nerdables
Are we?
Show. Yes, and check out our website. It sometimes gets updated. So for Sebastian,
Oh my God.
Mikey, Ethan, Travis, and Chris, I'm R.A. Singh. We'll see you next time.